Hello and welcome to Two Hopes Garage. My name's Jace, thank you very much for joining us. And once again, I'm starting the video off with an apology. It's been taking ages to get content out. I've lost a lot of momentum lately with looking for a new job. I've been away on holiday. I've been awaiting parts. I've been awaiting tools. There's all sorts of excuses, but there is footage that's been taken. It needs edited. There's a myriad of half-complete jobs on the Mercedes at the moment. I've got the hub here painted up, ready to get mated up to the rotor. I have got the spindle here, still with the ball joint in it. The ball joint on this car has been a thorn in my side. I've broken 3 tools on it. And that was just splitting it. That was just splitting the thing. 3 tools I went through on that. The ball joint is still not out. It looks like the surface of the moon. I think it's moved about 0.5 millimeter. It's coming out though, it just doesn't know it. So this video was to incorporate the ball joint coming out. I'm afraid this video is now just going to be the spindle out. Just to get some content out there for the moment. And that hopefully should follow shortly where I get the ball joint replaced. And I'm going to make a tool for that, I think. I've got the cheap ball joint press. I think I'm going to try and make a tool for it to get it out on the hydraulic press. But we'll see how that goes. But that's coming up. What else? So the Camaro is still getting used. Because the weather's still quite nice for October. The tax runs out. We have to tax these things for a year. The tax runs out on the end of the month, on Halloween. When that runs out, it's just get in for the winter. That's it, finished. And at that point, we'll get the shock absorbers done on the Camaro. So that's at the end of this month, start of next month, there'll be the shocks getting done in this. For the meantime, there is footage that needs edited and is coming out soon for the Mercedes. I know I keep saying this, but there is footage coming out. And the Volvo. The Volvo needs new rear brakes. It needs a stop-start support battery. It also needs an EGR pipe. It was in the dealers recently for a service. They told us they were going to tell us what was needed on the car, and it would include brakes and an EGR pipe. They failed to let us know what actually needs doing, in spite of us paying them £500 for a service. They're now saying, bring it back in. Bring it in an 80-mile round trip and leave it with them for probably the best part of another day, while they tell us stuff that they'd seen before because they forgot what was needing doing on it. So they're not my favourite people at the moment. So there's footage coming out for the Volvo shortly as well. So for the moment, let's get into getting the spindle off the Mercedes. Some good stuff. Cheers. So there's the back of the caliper. Got a couple of 19mm bolts holding it on, there and there. And we're going to tweak these out with the impact gun and whip the caliper off and get it out of the way. I know I'm going to be splitting it all down, but for the moment we're just interested in getting it out of the way to let us get in about the other stuff. So to take it off, I am going to be using my Chicago Pneumatic CP7748 half-inch impact gun. I'm not sponsored by Chicago Pneumatic. I've got it on a massively long impact extension, just so that you, the viewer, can get a clearer picture of what's going on. Jeez. I think I might have been losing a bit of energy through that extension, so I'm going to go for the direct approach here. Alright, let's try that. There we go. Yeah, that's a little bit corroded. With the impact long extension, I think there was too much losses through the system as a whole. So I'm back on to just the impact direct on the gun, or the bit direct on the gun, or even the socket direct on the gun. However, we may get the thing off. Let's give it a shot. So all we need to do, get the impact direct on the bolt. Yep, that's pretty corroded and pretty toasty. So now I'll get our caliper off. Right, once again I've supported the disc on the wooden blocks with the hydraulic pad underneath it. It will move about, but it'll just lessen it. And let's see if we can get this caliper off with a wee bit of brute force and ignorance. It's coming. There we go. We'll just walk it off. Let's see if we can lift it off. Get it supported somewhere. Well, that was more emotional than it needed to be. Got the caliper off and hang that from the upper control arm for the moment. So that's safe and sound. Next thing is disconnecting this off the back of the assembly there. So on the back down here we have, if I can dig it out, a 5mm Allen bolt holding on what I'm guessing is going to be the ABS sensor at the moment. That's an educated guess. Although this has been really rusty, it's actually been okay to turn. So I will pop this off, getting my lovely colourful Wera Allen keys all minging here. Let's see if this is finger tight. There we go. I think the original thread locks actually saved us there and stopped a bit of dissimilar metal corrosion. Now, are we getting it off in one piece? Would be the next question. So I've got my trusty syringe with Croy on it, and I'll just get that seeping in various places. I'll come back to that tomorrow, and I'm sure it'll just fall off in my hands, hopefully. Let's put some in here as well. And a bit here, because we will need to disconnect these. Well, I think that'll do for the moment. I'll come back to this tomorrow. So next thing, I think we'll get the front disc popped off. So we'll tap off the cover. Another wee spin. Final spin should do it. There we are. So pop that off. That lets us access the bearing. I think this might be original, but I'm not sure. Inside the dust cap we've got our little radio interference suppressor. So I'll get this cleaned off, and then we'll get the nut off. You can see where the radio interference suppressor is broken off. Not to worry, we'll get a nice new one in there. And over here we've got, what have we got? Is that a 4? No, it's a 5. 5mm Allen key. And remarkably, it's even facing the camera. Fantastic. What are the chances of that? So let's slacken this off. Whoa. Oh, somebody was taking no chances with that. And why would you? It's what keeps the wheel on. So that's nice and loose. This really shouldn't be much more than hand tight. I'll get a spanner on there. I could go with an adjustable. Let's let's go with an educated guess and see if I can. What we go for? I'm going to say a 24. I have no clue really. Let's go for a 24. I'm going to plump with a 27. Oh, it's even bigger. Disappointing. Good grief, what we got? Let's have a look. Do you know, I could just have brought a big adjustable over, but do you know what? I paid good money for the big spanners, and I never use the things. So let's get at least one use out of the 32mm. There we go. Beautiful. So that bad boy just pops right off. And with it, the disc's going to come right off. Taking care. There's our bearing. Taking care not to drop bearings all over the floor. So yeah, let's get a thumb on there. 1, 2, 3, because it's a Mercedes. And straight off with the disc. And let's have a look and see what sort of nick our spindle's in. Jeez, that looks good. Well, I wouldn't say as good as new, but for 34 years, I'd say it's pretty decent. Yeah, I'm impressed with that. That's grand. Not so grand as our scabby old rusty dust shield. I'm thinking a 5. And I'm thinking they'll be tight. Yep. There we go. There's one. I'm having to go back to the camera every so often. I'm saying camera. You've probably guessed, but these videos at the moment are getting done on my phone. There's that one away. Initial shock gets it moving. Last but by no means least, this one down here. There we go. I'm quite impressed with how this thing's been coming apart. Now I realise that looks all rusty and scabby, but you can still see the blue thread lock on there, which I think has prevented a bit of corrosion and kept that kind of decent. What do you think? You think I need to you think I need to clean up that dust shield at all? I'm actually quite surprised it's not rusted all the way through. I think we might just be able to get away with cleaning that one and giving it a wee coat of satin black and reusing it, I'm hoping. It ain't pretty right now, but I'm hoping it'll clean up. There we go. One scabby old Mercedes dust shield. I'll pop this on for the moment, just to prevent it from going AWOL. So I'll pop these back in for the moment as well. Stop then from going AWOL. This ABS sensor here is giving me some issues just now. There's a cable goes up to, let's see, that grommet up there, and that extends for quite some distance, and I'd need to track down the other wire and get that disconnected. So I'm being lazy and I'm trying not to do it. I'm thinking if I can just get the sensor out of here. Yeah, we'll let that soak for another 24 hours, work it back and forward a wee bit, try and get that coil through there, and see if we can get that out. Right, there's the plug there. Managed to wedge the camera. This one simply pulls apart. There we are. So that's disconnected there. Next step, underneath it, the other one, I think, terminates here. There we are. This one here. What's the crack with that? I'm guessing. Squeeze these. And pop apart. There we go. Oh, bit of corrosion. We'll clean that up. So I think I'm disconnected. Next thing is feeding it back through. So there is our rubber grommet. Now that took a bit of doing. I used a bit of WD-40 silicone, not the standard stuff, and quite a lot of prying. And there we are. Let's get the other plug out. Fabulous. Oops. I've actually managed to get that grommet out in one piece. A bit of WD-40 silicone. Tried to podge it through with my fingers. Ended up using the ball end of a 5mm Allen key just to poke it through. And yeah, I've got it out successfully without damaging it, which is fabulous. So the next thing is probably to get the ball joint off, and we'll take our wires with it, although we'll need to disconnect the one from the brake caliper. Right, I think with the track rod end, we'll just give it a wee zap with the windy. It's on a 17, so here we go. Oh, you gotta love an air tool. There we go. Pop the nut back on. There we go. Well, let's go with a cheap Chinese ball joint splitter on this occasion. One moment. There we are. One cheap Chinese ball joint splitter with a little bit of bearing grease on it. Give it a little tappy tap. There we go. And take up the slack in that. There we go. Right, that's the track rod end separated. I think before I attempt to get the ball joint splitter in there, we're going to go for removing this steering arm. So a couple of 19s, we'll get the impact on it, and we'll get this weaked off, and then look at getting this off. On with the impact. Excuse the hands. There we go. There's one off. So we'll zip this one off. There we go. Gotta love an air tool.
I'll pop these back in for the moment. I think there's one there. One in here. That looks about right. Fantastic. I think I might give that a wee bit of a clean and a paint. Here's me about to do something I'm not a big believer in doing, and that is giving this a wee whack with this. No. Yeah, this thing popped off while the camera was switched off and I was swearing at it. So I eventually got there with the OTC tool. You can see the lip in there is a bit deformed. I had to take off the pointed end piece. It was getting deformed as well. The top of the screw, or the ball joint thread rather, was absolutely moored. So I had to cut that off in order to get a flat surface to act upon. It finally went. I had this rotated round forward like so to get a better angle on it, and yeah, it went while the camera was off. Sorry about that. It's just one of those things. So yeah, while I'm here, we'll pop the spring perch off with a trusty Chicago pneumatic, and it's on 3 13mm bolts. So hopefully, there's one. Fantastic. That's toasty. Naturally, I'll retrieve that in a moment. That's 2. Oh, you got 11 air tool. Last but by no means least, 3. Awesome. So there is the spring perch. I think, I'm not sure, this might need I think this might need a wee wire, but and a wee coat of paint, but we'll see. Yeah. Okay, so that's the stuff off. So yeah, let's pop this off. I'm actually going to, I've got all this ABS wiring attached to it, so I'm going to bag that up and keep it out of the way.
So that was a Spindle. We got it out in the end, and I was hoping to have the ball joint out for you, but that's not happened yet. Hopefully that'll be happening soon. Not quite sure what's coming up on this one next. I do have a bit of footage out there that needs edited. I've also got some half-finished jobs that need finishing. Once they're finished, we'll get that out. So it could be the wheel hub, it could be the ball joint. Equally, it might be the brake caliper getting stripped down and refurbished. Thank you very much to the new subscribers. Bear with me. I have, prior to this dry patch, I have been putting stuff out reasonably regularly for myself, probably once a fortnight. I aim to do weekly. It doesn't often happen weekly. So thank you very much for subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, please press the like button. It means an awful lot to me as a tiny YouTube channel. And coming up, there is Mercedes W126, Z28 Camaro, Volvo XC60, and there might even be some F-150 footage coming out as well. Definitely the 3. Don't know about the F-150. That's my daily. I generally don't have time to film the work on that. The work on that gets done and it gets out the door quickly again. So I'm waffling on long enough. Thanks once again. Hope to see you again soon. And until then, take care. Cheers.